Leadership. Leadership. What does it mean to lead? 32% of American workers prefer a fully remote model and 59% prefer a hybrid model. What does it mean to lead? 44% of American workers are looking for a new job with a different employer. What does it mean to lead? The top 5 return to work skills for managers are coaching, empathy, growth mindset, communication, and inclusion. What does it mean to lead? Where does your leadership origin story come from? Let's talk about that. Where does your leadership origin story come from? Did it come from your professional life, where you were taught how to lead by another leader by watching them? Or were you developed by a different type of leader to lead in a way that works best for you? Or did you learn how to lead in your professional environment through grit, determination, and just figuring it out? Leadership. What does it mean to lead? What does it mean to lead? In an HBR survey, 85% of respondents reported that their general well-being has declined, pointing out deteriorating mental health as the main culprit and increased work demands as the next most common reason. In a McKinsey report, 68% of respondents reported that they prioritized their health more after the onset of the pandemic. 40% now consider wellness a top priority in daily life. What does it mean to lead? What does it mean to lead? Where does your leadership origin story come from? Where does it come from? Maybe it started here, long before you entered the workforce. Did you hear stories? Did you hear stories around the table where people talked about your approach to communication skills and determination and loyalty? Did you hear from gatherings in your personal space about anger, frustration, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem because of how you were treated in a professional environment? Or maybe there was a leader in someone's life that lifted them up. Did you learn about what to do and what not to do in your personal life? Your leadership origin story is from the past, informed by and reinforced by your lived experiences and interactions in all phases of your life. Have you taken the time to consider what qualities are needed to lead today, and whether they align with the leadership template in your mind? We are human. Over the span of millennia, we evolve as a species, and over the span of a lifetime, we evolve as individuals. It's time for you as an individual, as a leader, to evolve. Our species is not designed to stand still. We're always growing, always adapting, always learning, whether we know it or not. If you're a leader, you're supposed to grow. You're supposed to adapt, and you're supposed to evolve on purpose. The expectations have changed. Empathy has evolved to compassion. Business first has evolved to human first. Task-driven has evolved into service-driven. The evolved leader is compassionate, human first, and service-driven. We all know these words. We read them in articles. We talk about them in meetings. We take for granted that we know exactly what these words mean, but the context is new. The context has evolved and is a paradigm-shifting approach to how to lead the humans around you. Think about it. Notice, I didn't say anything about the products we make, and I didn't say anything about bottom-line metrics. Think about the language you were hearing from leaders at your organizations when you first entered the workforce. Chances are even 10 years ago, the words being used were not compassion, human first, and service driven. There is an entire different set of expectations now. Priorities have changed. Business models have evolved. People are trying to find themselves. What is my role? Not only has my team expanded, but my day-to-day responsibilities are not in my core area of competence. Help me navigate that. To lead your humans successfully, of course, you have to be technically competent and have a business strategy. But that sometimes may not be enough from our leaders anymore. Those are table stakes. Understanding that business needs are always changing. The products do change. The market changes. The operating model changes. Reorgs happen. Agility requirements are high and not going away. Leaders need to understand themselves so they can lead their people through the change and ambiguity that will happen. Your people are expecting leaders in a workplace setting, think about this, to be compassionate. Because when you're compassionate, I feel for you. feel for you, and I'm obligated to do something that goes beyond empathetic and feeling with you. I need a leader to be compassionate on my behalf and do something for me. We are all flawed, and people expect to see the simply complex, flawed person that they call their leader as a human. So human first, a human leader who wants to identify with my lived experiences and be willing to share their stories. Achieving the business or function or department goals through and with humans, and doing it in service of creating a better experience for everybody. There are people on your teams that have made the conscious decision unapologetically to prioritize quality of life over quantity of work and career progression. Service-driven. Leaders that are in service of others first. Leaders who see their job as empowering their teams to do great work and then removing the barriers that may be in the way. If you aren't centered through change and able to see the silver lining, that may manifest in your ability to be of service to your people. Evolved leadership starts with taking a look at your learned leadership mindsets and behaviors from the recent past and the distant past across both your professional and personal domains. Give yourself permission to understand honestly where you are. Are you ready to meet the moment of where we are going as humans? Analyzing leadership through a historical perspective shouldn't be an indicator of future effectiveness. Focus on being helpful, leading, evolving now, because that's what people need. Compassionate, human first, and service driven. That's an evolved leader's mindset. Are you ready to be an evolved leader?